They say one of the hardest things to do in life is to prove that something doesn't exist. For the owner of a bed and breakfast in New Kent County, it's even worse.
Jessica Angel spoke with investigative reporter Chris Horn as she tries to prove that her property has had no connection to the scourge of slavery. Chris?
Yeah, Tom, Angel owns the Vaiden Inn right across the road from the New Kent courthouse. She listed the historic property on Airbnb as soon as she bought it 7 years ago. And then last year, Airbnb kicked her off. Jessica Angel wants Airbnb to reconsider, and as of a few hours ago, she now has company. Take a stroll down New Kent Highway and you'll see the Vaiden Inn. But take a scroll down Airbnb and you won't see the Vaiden Inn at all.
I really like old architecture.
Owner Jessica Angel had listed with Airbnb ever since she and her mother bought the place in 2017.
I listed as soon as the doors were open.
And then the popular website called her last June.
If you look at census records, there is evidence that enslaved people both lived and worked on the property.
And that violated Airbnb's policy. No more listing on Airbnb. They had written her off.
But it is definitely not true that my house was part of this plantation, as they say, that it was part of. It was not true.
Bookings started falling.
And I had to explain to them what happened, and I had to kind of reassure them that we are 100% inclusive, and we aren't like that, and we have nothing to do with these allegations.
And Angel knows about inclusivity. The Vaiden Inn is an LGBTQ business.
I'm all about inclusion and equal rights. So it shocked me when she had said that they were going to remove my listing because it violated their new policy.
Airbnb has lumped her together with her next door neighbor, the New Kent Ordinary.
At one point, it was a part of the Ordinary.
This thing is all to start.
The Ordinary, an Old English term for a tavern, predates the Vaiden Inn by nearly a century, back to the 1690s.
Here's the old courthouse area, and you can see the stables.
And as of today, Airbnb has removed the Ordinary from its site as well.
I think it's unfortunate, that people are being penalized for things that happened long before they acquired the property.
The Ordinary's form for the National Register of Historic Places says there's moderate to high potential that the Ordinary had enslaved African Americans living and working there. But Radwani disputes that.
Not that we have ever read, and I've researched back to the time that this was built. Who can say for sure that none of these places had slaves?
An Airbnb spokesperson said the policy prohibits any listings on a former plantation where people who were enslaved lived or worked, if structures that existed during the time of slavery are still present, and that the removal resulted from intensive investigation. Angel took her case to the next level.
So I hired a company out of Washington, D.C. that specializes in historic mapping and research. They found even more evidence to prove what I had already said.
Her estimated loss of business, $100,000 and counting.
All of a sudden, this source of income was just gone for what I feel is no reason.
Meanwhile, next door, Radwani says about 90% of her bookings came from Airbnb. And now both have been removed from Airbnb. We'll follow this story as it continues to develop. In the meantime, do you think properties with connections to slavery should be banned from vacation rental platforms? Check out our poll. It's running right now on wavy.com. Chris Horn, 10 on your side.